Welcome back everyone. Let's go ahead and take a look at the iPhone 12 and see how it's been holding up, I guess the last couple of months, almost a year within the next 3 months, and see how this thing's been holding up. Now, I will tell you, the iPhone 12, still completely worth it. It's a great phone. There really aren't too many other phones right now that are like in the same caliber for the price and all that stuff, so it has gone down in value a little bit, which is good. I'm always happy to see that stuff. If you want to pick one of these things up, I'll leave a link down in the description. You can get them from there and help support the channel at the same time. Now, starting off with the outside, really nothing has changed. This phone is still completely about the same as it was before. The quality of this phone is still great. I will tell you though, a lot of phones around this device have actually changed in their landscape. So when you look at a phone like a Samsung Galaxy S21, for example, that device, was supposed to be, the premium flagship from Samsung. That thing had a plastic back and arguably felt cheaper than something like an iPhone 12. So that was something that really shocked me. I wasn't expecting this device to, be that much better of a phone than this one. So, I don't know, that really shocked me. So that made the iPhone 12 feel way more premium than I thought it was going to be. And that's something that really shocked me. Even with the OnePlus 9, the iPhone 12 held its own, and I think this is a better device than the OnePlus 9 in a lot of ways as well. The panel of this thing, 6.1 inches, nothing has changed, still OLED obviously, but it still looks good. The panel, I think in my opinion, is better than the iPhone 11, but there's just something about the iPhone 11's panel that just strikes me as still being better. I don't know what it is. Even so many more updates that have been coming out for this device didn't fix anything from the display. There were a lot of issues early on about some green tint issues and different things like that. I will tell you a lot of those things have been fixed for the most part, but do keep in mind if you plan on getting the iPhone 12, double check to make sure your iPhone doesn't have any issues on the display, because Apple will take your device back and they can fix it. If the earlier you tell them, the better. So that's a first thing, without a doubt, something I would really recommend you guys to do. Lightning port at the bottom still looks great. Glass back and the MagSafe charger is something that's really grown on me. I thought at first it was kind of a gimmick. I thought it was annoying, but it's actually pretty useful and I do use it all the time. So do keep in mind that with an iPhone 12, you do have that MagSafe capability. It just clicks on the back and it is something that I really do like. So this is probably the first instance of Apple switching over, removing the lightning port and everything. So it's something I like and hopefully you like it too. And IP certification, everything's still on the outside. And overall, it's really grown on me. I think this device was good when it came out. It's still good, but again, I don't think it was like a crazy big difference from the iPhone 11. And the most immediate thing that I saw that is pretty much identical to the iPhone 11 is the camera. You still have that dual camera setup on the back, a 12 megapixel wide angle lens, and then a 12 megapixel ultra wide sensor. And this is a very good camera. It's not really that much better than the iPhone 11, but it's really hard to beat the iPhone 11. This device has a lot of capability when it comes down to this specific device's camera. And like I mentioned, when you have a phone like this, you're really going to be set for the future for a long shot. Until Apple brings in 8K capability, you're pretty much set. There's really not that much more you can do. You just have to wait until Apple fixes it or, adds in more improvements or something. You have portrait mode on the back. You're just missing that telephoto lens and the LiDAR sensor. But other than that, this camera is very, very good. You have 4K at 60, which is also a really good thing about this phone. And like I mentioned, the front camera is still extremely good. We haven't really gotten too many software updates that has improved this whole entire camera. It's been about the same. I think there's maybe like one or two little improvements here and there, but nothing super crazy. The front camera of this thing is great. 4K at 60 on that as well. And when compared to a lot of other phones, as I mentioned, it's really, really good that this thing has that type of capability of having a really good front camera and a really good back camera. So take it as you will, but this is without a doubt one of my favorite things about this phone for sure. But another thing that's really awesome about this device is obviously the software. Having a phone like this that's going to be supportive for software for a very long time is awesome, and it's something that I really, really do like. So with a phone like this, you're going to be getting software support for a very long time. It's not ending anytime soon. It's probably going to end, 4 or 5 years from now, which is really, really good. It's not ending tomorrow. So again, it's something that I really do like, and the software of this phone is very, very awesome. So without a doubt, I love the software and the battery life. 2800 milliamp battery. It's definitely been okay, Again, when I first reviewed it, it really wasn't that great. It was pretty bad, to be honest, and much worse than my iPhone 11 battery, but something happened and the iPhone 12's battery life has improved quite a bit. And I think I mentioned this in my 1 month review or 2 month review of this phone, and since then it's been about the same. So I really do like it, and I think it's definitely improved since the first day it came out. Now let's go ahead and end it off with the performance. This device, as many people do know, has that Apple A14 Bionic chip inside of it. hex-core CPU, and 4 gigs of RAM on every single model of this device. Now, like I mentioned before, and I'll continue to say, this performance of this phone is very, very good. It's a very good performing device, and I love having a phone like this that's just, top tier. I mean, this is the best performing phone, if not one of the best performing phones. And of course, the only thing that limits this phone, in my opinion, is the RAM. It doesn't have the most amount of RAM, which I'm not super crazy about. Like, it's not that big of a deal. I wish it did have a little bit more, maybe like 6 gigs, just like the iPhone 12 Pro. But again, I don't really find too many times where I'm like, oh my god, I wish my phone had more RAM. It handles everything I do perfectly fine. And I use this phone extensively on my second channel. So if you watch my second channel videos, pretty much every single video on that channel almost is I'm using an iPhone 12 I'm not filming it with the iPhone 12, but I'm using it in those videos. And anytime I have to edit videos for TikTok or anything like that, it's usually using an iPhone 12. And even beyond that, anytime I'm gaming or anything like that, I use this device. And even when I used it just for that review, it's a very good performing phone. I really don't think there's too many complaints about it. My only complaints is that the software isn't really utilizing the whole entire, performance of this phone. I think things like, split screen multitasking and stuff, those are things that this phone could easily handle, but it's limited by the software. So that's one area where I'm like, okay, if Apple really wants to take it up a notch, or then just add, split screen multitasking in the beginning with, and that would be something I would be super happy about. Without a doubt, that is one thing that, is pretty limiting of this device. But beyond that, the performance in and of itself is very good. This is a very solid performing machine. And whether you plan on using it just for this year or for years to come, you're going to be perfectly fine. So to kind of sum up this video and to answer the question, should you pick up an iPhone, 12 in 2021? Well, the answer is obviously this phone is a very good performing phone. Like I mentioned, it has a ton of things going for it. It has so much stability. It's very stable of a phone. The cameras are great. It feels pretty good in the hand. It has gone down in value, like I mentioned, a little bit in the used market. Nothing super crazy, maybe max like $100, but that's still something, and that's something worth noting. The performance of this phone is very, very good. The battery life has gotten better over time, so that's another pretty good thing about this phone. Now, the only thing that kind of limits it, like I mentioned before, maybe are like, the not having that telephoto lens. That's like one thing. The RAM isn't as much as like the iPhone 12 Pro. If that's a big deal to you, then that's something worth noting. But other than that, I mean, this is a pretty good phone. There's really few things to complain about. We are getting close to the next iPhone life cycle though, so I would probably recommend you to wait it out, especially buying the last gen, aka this generation. When the next gen is about to come out, you're pretty much better off waiting until the iPhone 13s come out and then seeing how cheap these things get and then pick this thing up. But either or, very solid phone. I like it a lot, and I would highly recommend you guys to still pick it up almost a year later. So that's essentially it. If you guys have any other questions or anything, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.